Do we think the FBI is going to watch this? I kind of hope so. I mean, they're going to eventually. Only insofar as that we will lead a global, gentle, emphasis on gentle, revolution. You know, a mass class consciousness. In the pursuit of radical consent. Does that scare you, FBI? Radical consent. I'm going to use a lot of my own words. I'm not going to be citing anything. If this gains traction, I will go back and cite things to elaborate on my responsibilities. I'm gonna stop this video to make sure the sound is coming through. But I'm just gonna pick up in a second. Hold on. Okay, I think we're doing fine besides my heavy breathing. I do have asthma and I smoke weed, so there's gonna be a lot of heavy breathing. I'm gonna do my best to caption this. I should sit straight. I don't fucking know. I do a lot of breathing in general. You're gonna have to suffer. I'm really sorry. God, now I'm self-conscious. I need to get to the point, or you're gonna click off. I'm not a cult leader. I've done a lot of self-analysis to make sure that I'm not. Right? Because, okay, so like, all the definitions that I've read, right? When you Google it right now and you see cult leader, no, like, definitional, like, Webster written down definition that I, like, have been able to find includes coercion or, like, harmful manipulation, deceit. I don't even think it includes delusion. I think it just, I mean, again, I can be, if you want to correct me, I think it's what I've seen and what I've interpreted so far. A cult leader is a charismatic person who inspires, or like a charismatic leader who inspires people to change their entire way of living. Right? Let's see. Echo. Wrong one. Echo, define cult leader.
A cult leader is someone who exerts significant control over a group with extreme devotion and unorthodox beliefs. They often use manipulation and coercion to demand
Echo,
unconditional
stop.
loyalty from followers.
So that's the thing, right? And so they keep saying that. They keep saying, like, unorthodox, right? And so that I am radical. I get the concept of being radical. I do get the fact that I'm, like, doing, extreme changes, like crazy, a whole, I get that, right? And it says, but often includes manipulation. And so I'm not doing a great job at convincing you I'm not a cult leader because I've already convinced myself that I am one, according to that definition. However, I would never call myself that. Because I think the colloquial definition, and I think the true definition, we should change the definition of a cult leader. We should go in there and say it includes manipulation, because the definition is so failing that it includes someone like me who people have described me as a benevolent cult leader, which made me question, am I a fucking cult leader? Like, what does that even mean to be a cult leader? And so, no, I will never call myself a cult leader because I'm in my state of mind, which I'm going to do my best to convince you, doesn't include delusion, coercion, or the fact that I even have to be the leader of it. Like, I don't want to or have to. If someone else could do it, I would let them, or whatever. I mean, people are doing it, right? Why me, right? Who am I? I've put I've cherry picked, right? Nothing I say is novel. Everything I say to you today, in the past, or in the future, is my silly logical brain. I think it's logical, right? And so, and I'm like, hey, that makes sense, and right. So this is not me trying to, I don't know. Again, do not groom you. I just want you to understand where I come from. Okay, this is our start. I have always had a very innate sense of justice since I was a child. I would throw a lot of fits about like, hey, why did they get this and I didn't get this, or I don't. Why do boys and girls have to do different things? Like everything I questioned, right? And so my first like real like sociological question that like started like when I was an adult that like started the role of like why am I doing what everyone's telling me to do? Um, as in like religious people or like conservative people. And we'll get into that. Or like like following just the status quo. Like I'm wearing a dress because you told me to, but I'm not causing you any harm by not wearing a dress. Where am I going with this? I mean, I know where I'm going with this. Sorry. So I have very innate sense of justice. I'm like, I don't understand why. I think I'm autistic, but I have not been diagnosed. I'm trying to seek out diagnoses, but it's really hard with access to medical care in the United States. Um, anyway, so innate sense of justice my whole life. And, my first question when I was an adult, sorry, was why do we say bless you when we sneeze, right? And so all kinds of stories, like I don't even like like your heart stops for a second, or like there's demons that enter you, all kinds of different things, right? But basically, society told us to. Um, the end. And I want to understand what is inherently moral, what is inherently fucking moral, what is. These are the questions I'm asking you today. I don't know who the fuck you are, but what is inherently moral? I have a couple sayings. I'm skipping a lot of stuff. I've started and stopped a couple of different times, but the point I'm trying to get to today, the whole reason I want you to listen to what I'm saying is because I believe that nobody asked to be born. Not one person. You are here without your consent. Rape number one. Sorry. And no babies, no person, no entity shall be born, raised, or die behind closed doors. And if you can give me one argument that anyone should be born, raised, or die behind closed doors, I would love to hear it because I'm looking for it. And everyone tells me that I have to allow it. That it's let a parent do what they want. But what happens when we do that? What happens when we close those fucking doors? The harm is measurable. I didn't mean to do this. You deserve, by the fact that you didn't ask to be born, but you deserve to be seen and lovingly considered. But by who? Right? So your parents, however, we understand as a society that parents will fail, whether they die or otherwise. Then who? Start over. Let's erase everything I ever said. What the fuck is a society? Except a fucking contract that, like, to work together to stay safe. Is anyone working together, and is anyone safe in the current society that we have? I should just stop right now and just leave that mic drop. Sorry, I had to say that. But, like, radical consent is giving every single person the opportunity to make decisions in a non-coercive state. And so if you're born into poverty, or into a world that has systemic, discrimination against whatever category you fall into, or multiple categories or whatever. Sorry, I lost track of what I was going with this. I think you know what I was talking about. Radical consent. Fuck, it's gone. Well, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna rewatch what I watched. Sorry for crying, I guess. Except for the fact that like you deserve to live, and but also like you don't owe me anything. You don't owe society anything, except not causing harm. I'm not allowed to do that. That's the radical consent part of it. No one asked to be here. You can't hurt anyone without their consent, which also means I can't hurt you without your consent, which means I can't just have you born into poverty. inappropriate. To even allow the situation for anyone to be born into poverty is just is systemic failure. The system, no. And so, I mean, I have a lot of ideas, right? I have a lot of voices I've been trying to listen to. I try to listen to every voice. I want to listen to your voice. I want to hear every nuance. And I've been waiting. I guess I'm not stopping the video. um, I've been waiting for the right day to like make this video. I mean, I've been relatively public, in comments and things on, like, I don't ever shut up about it, but like to actually like put my stuff, my face out there, my face out there, and my words, and in a succinct way, because I really don't feel like I've been ready enough, as in like, uh, sorry, excuse me, a balance of like I'm not worthy versus I don't know if I actually am prepared. Like I had to take the responsibility to like, are you responsible enough to like start a conversation that you can continue? Am I responsible enough to continue this conversation? And I don't think up until, I think on this year, um, that I don't think I was even I wasn't up to the bare minimum threshold of being responsible to carry it forward. My threshold is a lot higher than most people's to fucking talk out of their ass. God, right? Anyway, so I'm here to start a conversation. I am. If I die tomorrow, I just want someone to be like, I didn't ask to be here, and I deserve boundaries, right? And so that's what radical consent is boundaries. And so like you deserve boundaries. Your inherent right of being born is to be able to set boundaries. And what is a fucking boundary? A boundary is saying that like if you cause me harm, I will remove myself from the situation. That's it. Not saying you're not allowed to cause me harm because I didn't do anything. Saying that if you do this, I will no longer support whatever we're dealing with. I will not be in this relationship anymore. I will not hide your secrets. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place if it's harmful, like if it is causing harm, or at least especially, I mean, unconsensual harm. You're allowed to harm yourself, and other people if they consent to it and they understand the risks. Oh, should I tell you the most crazy shit? Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna end this and watch it back and see if I have any. Okay, but in my society, radical consent, right? So I don't conceptually think this will likely happen. I don't. I think it. I don't know if the Venn diagram is exactly a Venn diagram. They might just be two circles right next to each other. However, I think we have to have in my society, we have to go up to that line. We have to see, is there an overlap in this Venn diagram? Is there a line? Is it just gray forever? I walk up to the abyss and I stare into it. Right. Okay. Here's the thing. Right, you ready? If you can convince me that you're a sane, sound, and educated on the risk you are trying to take, right? You're allowed to take that risk. Oh, private too. You can't. If you want to take a risk, you can't tell other people to do it. I mean, you can like privately, but you can't like um have a platform of saying, "Hey, everyone needs to go jump off a cliff because I did it and survived," or whatever. Um, we can get more into like exactly clear cut, but like privately. So how they more into this. So like, again, like you can harm yourself if you can prove to my jury, the moral jury, or the doctor jury, or the psychologist jury, probably is one of each on this, that you're allowed to enact harm upon yourself. And of course, and like, why would I need a jury to for you to go skydiving with a parachute? Because I mean, that's a risk that you are allowed to take as long as you understand you've been non-coerced. Something with tattoos, like, are you drunk when you showed up? Like, you're allowed to take a risk. However, in my society, that risk does not stop. There is no end to the risks that you're allowed to take as long as it doesn't hurt anyone without their consent, You're not inviting other people to also take that risk without them being not coercing other people to take that risk, and you can again you're safe, you're sane and sound mind, because no one has to be here. No one's entitled to your presence. No one is entitled to your presence. Not one person, except your children. But then, even then, if you're hurting your children, you can't stop. Get rid of your children, as in, as in like put them in a situation that is safe for them. If you have to release them to foster care, if you have to give your children to foster care because you think you're gonna kill them, do it. God, it's not that fucking hard. You don't own your children. You don't do that. You don't. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, legally you can kill yourself. In my society. However, you can't just like hang yourself or whatever. I mean, jury approval, not harm against others. You can't do it publicly. We're just going to traumatize other people. You can't do it so it's going to like ruin the house that you're living in, so the next person can't live in it unless you want to like destroy it and you have the money to build a new one or whatever. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But I'm just saying like the concept is so like you can have a doctor administer euthanasia. That's a concept we have now. Is self and not self-administered. I mean, as in like autonomous euthanasia. It's not in the United States. It's in other countries, but many people advocate for autonomous euthanasia to end suffering, right? And so, in my society, that's not the thing that the Venn diagram. The Venn diagram mostly I think about is like murder. So conceptually, murder is legal in my society if you both can consent, right? Yeah. Yeah, but you have to like really show me that you're not going to change your mind at the last second. Can you do that? Is it possible? I mean, with a euthanasia, if someone's dying of cancer, right? They should be able to euthanize themselves. Court again with support, and guidance and stuff and regulations. But like, oh god, am I questioning myself in this moment? I've never. Good. I should be questioning myself. I should question myself all the time. Um, let me. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna process that some, and I'll get back to you. I think this is a cool self audit, and to show you what I've been doing for the last 5 years and what I will continue to do for the rest of my life. Um, yeah. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, yes, murder is legal. Um, with consent. Okay, okay, this is great. So the reason I question myself today, so I'm constantly thinking of different nuances. It's just scenarios that I've never imagined, and trying to see do my morals apply. Um, and I didn't think I was ready to make this video or multiple videos, until I felt like I could answer every nuance. But the thing is, every new nuances come up all the time, and I'm like, I don't know if my morals apply to every single nuance, and of course I still don't. And I would love, oh God, I would freak out if you could find me a nuance that I have not imagined or that I can't cover, like that my morals don't cover. I'm not like that confident, but I mean I am obviously, but I'm not like I'm not saying it's not possible. So I hope it is. I mean I don't hope it is because I really do hope I've created a solution to all the problems in the world. Um, but okay, so you can kill yourself. So the reason I was questioning myself. Okay, so earlier today I was thinking about like, so radical consent, right? Let's say this any dude, someone doesn't have to be a dude. Some person says that like I want to engage in an action. So like, let's say this person doesn't want to die. They've explicitly said, I don't have any intention of dying. It is against my consent to release my life to the world. However, I want to engage in an action that will definitely 100% end in my death. And even after education and mentorship, this person denies, like they're in a state of delusion, that this action will result in their death. Right. And then I'm trying to find extreme nuances, things that could never exist. So I mean, they might exist. That's why I'm fucking thinking about it. Okay, so this person is so like the person they said they're trying to jump off a cliff. They're like, I can fly, and they're like, no, bitch, you didn't. You want to be alive. We do. You've already told us you want to be alive. And unfortunately, your reality is in some sort of delusion, which is coercing you into doing things against your consent, right? And so we will have to stop you, right? And that's, against your consent, but it's not because the reality is the one who's deluding you. Anyway, so like we have to like, but let's say we put them in a box, right? And then we say like, hey, you can't jump off the cliff, but they're like chomping at the bit. They're hurting people. They're killing other people. They really want to fucking jump off that cliff, and they are in distress. They are, hurting themselves. They are like they want to die because they do want to. They need that cliff so bad. There's such strange delusion, whether it's hallucinations or paranoia or whatever. They need this thing that's going to kill them. They need it so bad, or they think they need it so bad. They've deluded themselves and think it's so bad that they are now like the ratio of what was it, like joy, not joy, but like God, I can't. It was like what is it, like autonomy to like God, I can't put these into words sometimes. Um, like potential to live a joyful life, that follows radical consent and whatever. Like that has now been, they are suffering, right, to the point where it's extreme. Like they want to die. Um, there comes a point at which when do you put a dog down when they're suffering, right? So this person, hypothetically, again, like every second is agony, like in their mind, they're screaming, they're crying, they're like, I need to do this. But then the thing was like, this is like anyone, like anyone who's in suffering. Like I'm thinking about like, like babies who are born inside out. We could keep them alive, sure. Should we? Not for, I mean, like, sure, we could. Let's keep them alive for as long as possible. Let's study them. Let's see how long they can survive. And let's apply that to science, and we'll make new revolutions in science. But the individual is suffering, right? And so who has the responsibility to end that suffering when it is not possible? Okay, so the whole murder thing. Okay. So I'm like, okay, so now we've decided this guy needs to die, right? So this guy's suffering, he whatever, like someone who's incapacitated and suffering, someone has to make the decision to kill them. We're gonna kill that baby who was born inside out. We are going to kill them. Unfortunately, that word is the word. Again, euthanize is a nice word, but the thing is, we are ending their lives. The word is kill. I understand the gravity of the decisions that I'm making as much as I can, as someone who was raised in the United States and never had to make these decisions themselves. So I do recognize that. However, so I do recognize that this is an intense situation. However, someone has to take the responsibility to end suffering. Someone does have to do that. I don't trust anyone who doesn't have a severe regulatory system in place in order to make those decisions. So it kind of has to be the government, a different government than this one. Fuck. This government needs to be slowly phased out. Faster if possible, but gently. God. Okay, so now we have someone he's been approved to be allowed the grace and the honor of to remove his suffering, right? And so we are doing the inside out baby an honor by killing them. I'm so sorry if you are a parent to a child, and you've had to make that decision. I'm not trying to make light of this, and I try to make things very clear cut. And I find that line and I stare into that abyss, and I'm sorry if I don't do it with respect. I try to, but Anyway, now this guy, the cliff jumper boy, he's been approved to die. Why can't we just let him jump? Right. Just give him that last bit of happiness. Unfortunately, we can't let him jump. We can't let him decide how to die if the access of the death is not instantaneous. So there's the happy button. Okay, so so like if he jumps and then he's like he believes he can fly, he jumps, he's so certain he's falling, right? He's halfway down to hit the ground. There's a split second of oh shit, he's suffering, right? He's like I can't fly, I'm about to die, this is awful. Even if we've decided to give him that grace or whatever, there's a chance of the harm of terror. So no, you can't kill yourself in that situation. Where the guy is insane, and we want to give him some autonomy. We do want to give him some autonomy if we can, but we're not going to allow him to make a decision that could because he's so insane. He's not going to be able to take the risk of jumping off, with the fact that he might be wrong. Understood, because he clearly doesn't. That's the point. And so it was that last second of terror of that oh shit, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? That is what made me question, is murder actually legal? Because someone's stabbing me. He's like, oh shit, I didn't actually recognize what I was getting into, even though I asked him to do this or whatever. However, that's the point, right? So if you jump off the plane, you go skydiving, and I mean, I've seen videos of people they're like, I don't want to go, and then like the instructor jumps anyway, and I'm like that, and I'm sure they loved it. You know, it was a great idea or whatever. Like, it's like that seemed unconsensual. Like I should be able to say my safe word at any time. Except the thing is, but however, like you can't do that if you plan on getting stabbed 100 times in this consensual murder debate, and he stabs you one time, or they stab you one time, and you're like, oh shit, I want to be done, but you're dying, you've been stabbed. However, that's the point. Sorry, you signed a waiver, get fucked. As in, like, we're not going to allow you to even get close to that waiver until you can prove safe, sound mind, educated, non-coerced, private, the end. But I'm not going to tell you that you're not allowed to do that. And I know it seems strange, but the thing is, like, up until this point, like, you're allowed to do drugs in my society, like illicit drugs. What you're not allowed to do is go drive a bus after you do those drugs, or be alone with your children when you're high on heroin, or like there's going to be a limit, and you probably won't be able to have like a bunch of it in your house, or maybe you'll have to do it in a facility. There's going to be parameters, but the concept is that, like, who tells you can do whatever you want to your body. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not causing harm to others. That's the whole fucking point. And so that the issue was like, if you do that was the issue that I was thinking about. Like, if someone says, oh shit, at the very last second, you were of sane mind, you knew that was an option. I made sure you knew that was an option before you sent that paper thing. This oh shit moment might happen, and I don't think you know what that oh shit moment feels like. But the thing is, like, I have to trust that you have. And I think again, this is the whole Venn diagram. Like, I don't know if a sane person who can understand and is in the same boat as someone who is willing to take that oh shit moment, those people might not overlap, right? But if it exists, you signed a waiver, bitch, and you were sane. You signed a waiver. You knew what you were getting into. You can cut your leg off. You can blind yourself. There's people who want. I think, however, most of those are not most of them. Sometimes it's a pathology. But, and I don't know, like trans people, right? I'm trans. Fun fact. I think I already whatever. Like, you're allowed to change your body even in extreme ways, like the surgery or whatever. I've got like 15 pounds of flesh on my chest. If I wanted to cut that off, that's like the same amount of flesh as like cut it off my foot, or even more, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, but thing is, like, am I allowed? Like, are you entitled to my functional body. No, get fucked. If I want to blind myself or cut my leg off, again, those Venn diagram probably doesn't overlap, but if it does, you can't tell me not to. I mean, you can tell me that I'm not allowed to cut it off myself in my house. Um, I mean, you can cut it off yourself in a room that's being observed by doctors, make sure nothing's going wrong or whatever. If you are willing to die, I mean, like unless you're a doctor yourself and like you're willing to risk those complications. And part of like anything, like you have to understand the risks. I think it's like if you can understand the risks, and will we know every risk? No, but we're science has gotten pretty good. Like we're able to really document and like if we put the research into things that we should actually be researching, how about you just go ahead and Google? Just Google it real quick. How much money do we put into erectile dysfunction research? How much do we do? How much? What about women's health? Just compare those two. Right. And so, like, let's collect the data. And I should be allowed, if I want to, cut myself during sex or have someone cut me during sex and cause me harm or, um, you know, there's like there's like small levels of like incremental levels of like, am I allowed to hurt myself? What risks do I understand to take? And am I willing to die? I mean, oh, cannibalism is legal. Obviously, if all these things are also legal, cannibalism would be as well. If it's not coercive, if it is consensual, of course. And so, do those Venn diagrams overlap? I don't know. I can't imagine that it does. But I have to account for those people. Who else do I have to account for? In the very beginning, I said the first video. Well, it's the same video for you, but the first video that I recorded a couple minutes ago I said sentience, right? Something like that, like sentient people. I mean, sentient doesn't have to be a person. A sentience exists, you get rights. But the thing is, like, even like animals have rights, and like the earth has rights, as in like different to humans. I might have to go and think about it before I talk to you more about like animal rights and human rights. But we do have to steward the land in order to not harm people. Obviously, so if we're like raping the planet, then we're all gonna die because the planet doesn't exist anymore. But you tell the rights of an animal, it means like you can't just torture them or do incredibly inhumane practices in order to like hunt them or whatever. Like they also have rights. I mean, like a lot of these like where pig farms that where do we get our meat today? Where do you get your meat? Have you ever looked into where you get your meat? I mean, I'm just saying we'll have to kill animals. We will have to do that. They won't have the same rights. We'll have to like hunt in order to like stabilize populations or whatever. I mean, we'll have indigenous stewards of lands, right? And so we will be working with indigenous stewards, so to make sure we're not really fucking shit up. I mean, along with environmental science people and everyone, teamwork. We're all team working here. And so like, but anyway, rights. Where was I going with this? Cannibalism. You can eat yourself. You can eat other people as long as they consent. The inherent act of eating flesh is not immoral. It's the coercion, usually, that happens from it. But the thing is, like, the stories. There are stories of people who have had to eat people in order to survive, just already dead people. I mean, I've also heard stories where, like, they had to pull straws and they killed someone. And that's a story. But I think it's like, I mean, like, the Donner Pass. I mean, that's obviously I live, I shouldn't say that. I live pretty close to Donner Pass. Okay, I should cut that out. I should cut that out. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's that. I mean, I watched the movie, but then I watched a video and did some research on it. But like the soccer team that crashed in like, was it the Andes Mountains somewhere in the South America, where a bunch of them survived for weeks, a long time. They slowly, some of them slowly died, and then they ate the people who died, and They survived. Many of them survived. Was it like 10 of them? A lot of them. Like many fucking them survived. And the thing is, they only survived because they had the strength by eating people to hike out of the mountains themselves because they were waiting for help. Nobody fucking came. They hiked out of the mountains themselves and got help because they were eating people. Because the act of eating human flesh is not immoral. Except, like, I don't want people, like, I mean, this is just me talking my ass right now. I don't want people, like, creating, like, human farms or trying to live off human flesh. I mean, I think any of that would inherently be coercive. And so, like, but, like, a lot of things just won't happen because they are coercive. As in, like, we won't allow it to happen. God, terrible. What if someone, like, we allow them to taste their leg and then they get, like, a taste for it? Terrible. I mean, we'll watch them. I mean, so, oh, you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. So the whole closed door scenario, have you been putting those pieces together, right? Um, I haven't read 1984. I don't think I want to put cameras in your house. I really don't. I don't. I think we've already established that. I mean, in my brain, that like, I mean, we can't intrude on your privacy. But babies cannot be raised behind closed doors, and so whether that means audits, like regular people, someone coming in, like kind of like CPS now. However, is that effective? It's not because the parents, coerce the children into saying, "I'm fine." The children don't have anything to compare it to, so they think it's normal. They think that they deserve it. Children are not reliable. Period. Um, and like, but neither are parents. Get fucked. And so I I'm not exactly sure. Mass surveillance. The word the answer to closed doors is mass surveillance. It is. I don't know. So, I mean, this is obvious answer is like public spaces will have surveillance. I think we should put trackers for children. Every child should have a tracker. Why not? Why not? Who has the answer is who has access to that tracker, right? The answer to why not is who has access to that tracker. If it was a perfect scenario, which doesn't exist, but if it was a perfect scenario in a completely transparent society, completely transparent, who they that the a non-coercive entity, a perfect. This is a magical society we're talking about, not mine. The concept we're talking about is that if there was a magical society and if there was a perfectly transparent data processing, I think we should put data collectors in every item that we can, even inside your house. Because anything you're trying to hide, I don't care about. Or anything that you're trying to hide that I do care about, you're not allowed to hide. Anything that you're trying to hide that I don't care about, I don't care about. As in like your fetishes and stuff and weird shit. I think it's like I understand people don't want like Amazon Alexas in their house because like they're constant because Amazon has that data, right? And the thing is, we don't like those police cameras in parking lots because they're not police cameras; they're a private entity who is leasing it to the police or whatever. It is mass surveillance is being used as a tool for a deceptive means, manipulation, coercion. They are taking and using it against us. They're selling the information. It's not safe. It's not transparent. We don't know where the information is going. We don't know what they're doing with it. We have no consent over doing it. And like, is it actually helping? I don't know. But what it is doing is like falsely getting people arrested. Like I do understand I don't completely, I have looked from different angles in as much as time has allowed of my existence. Because I'm looking at lots of different things at once, that I do recognize that any tool can be used to hurt. I don't know. I really don't. Okay, I really don't know if there will ever be a scenario which society has so many regulations for transparency that we will be able to mass surveil everyone in a safe way. I will never put mass surveillance up if I can't promise you in a way that you will a functional brain could understand and trust that like I am taking data with only harm reduction in mind. Um, and then maybe like maybe only the people who have cameras in their house are ones with children. I don't know, but adults get hurt adults too. I mean, like, so like, I wasn't in an abusive relationship, and it was even like 5 years ago now, and like he beat me every day for like months. I would wake up to him beating me because he convinced me that I was evil and that he was beating out of me. So I said thank you. I'm not kidding when he hit me. I genuinely believe, and I was convincing my friends like you have to like not like the word submit. I would never use the word submit because I was raised in the church and like submit to your husband. Let's get fucked. But it was like I don't even know the delusion that I was in that moment. But it was like you have to see his needs, and you have to work to meet those needs. It was delusional. Okay, it was a lot. Um, but I've been safe for years. I mean, I took a psychology of trauma class, and the first step to healing from trauma is being safe. Like you can't continue to heal from trauma until you're safe. Anyway, I'm safe. I'm really not experiencing symptoms anymore. I used to cry pretty often for like the first like year, and I would think about it a lot. Like I was like realizing things he did and real like I can't believe he did that. Like how did I let him do that? Anyway, so like so adults can be manipulated too. So I'm trying to say like why can't I put a camera in your house if why can't a perfect society with transparent regulations put a camera in your house if you have kids? I understand like and or you have roommates or you don't live alone. The thing is like even if you live alone, you can be like I mean all of these like freaking mass killers, what are they doing? They're living in their mom's house with the door shut in their room, and they're on the computer all day long. And there's like, well, he just on his computer all day long. I didn't really think he was. Yeah, he was ordering guns and body armor, but like he was just on his computer all day long. I mean, like we have to be maybe not cameras in your house. I mean, but like monitoring your online activity. I mean, like I don't care if you're a sex worker or a fetish person who is doing things consensually. I mean, like I don't I don't care if you're causing harm to yourself consensually. I don't again in this transparent perfect society, I want to collect your data in order to reduce harm. And I if that perfect society existed conceptually, why can't why shouldn't they collect your data? And why are they not obligated to collect your data? If radical consent, if there's a society built on radical consent that nobody should be have access, I mean, be submitted upon harm without their consent, why are you scared of cameras? You also can't teach your kids religion in my society. Can't do it. Not until a certain age. I don't know what age that is yet, but you can't do it. I mean, there are children who are taught that there's like, there's like an age of like awareness or whatever. Like, kids they teach in Christianity sometimes, depending on the sect or whatever. Like if a baby dies, they go to heaven because they didn't have a chance to say no to God or whatever. And like I've heard multiple different people like like a civilization that's raised completely separate from anyone who knows about Jesus. If Jesus can't access, then everyone goes to heaven because they couldn't say no to God or whatever. I mean that's a concept. So like there are children who are taught that like hit I think it's the age of accountability or whatever. They're like, hey, 8 years old is the age of accountability, and after that, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. I've literally heard stories of children who are about to reach that age of accountability considering killing themselves. You are not allowed to teach that to a child. You're not. Get fucked.